I'm Jeannie Bernick with Top Producer Magazine. I'm here with Dick Whitman, a farmer out of Idaho, who's also on the Ag Carbon Markets Working Group. And Dick, you've been speaking to a lot of commodity groups about how they can engage in the debate on climate change. Tell us a little bit about what you've been speaking about.
A lot of our focus has been on education to help farmers understand what the whole climate debate is about and what their role should be in discussing issues that affect our industry. Our main concern is that with 1% of the population in the world, it's a moot point to get in a deep debate about is there or is there not global warming or what is causing it. The reality is that a major portion of our world is concerned about climate, and we don't have the votes to stop that concern. We need to find out what the concern is and how any proposals for regulation or legislation might impact our industry, and we want to be in a proactive position to respond to these proposals. So we've been working with many of the commodity groups and ag groups trying to help them to understand what the impacts could be on our industry from a cost standpoint and what the opportunities might be to realize income generation from many of these proposals. Many of our farm groups are generating offsets in the form of sequestration or methane digesters or to precision ag or by creating offsets by manufacturing alternative energy sources. So we want them to understand how those things relate to climate change, what the value of that effort is, and how they measure and quantify those processes.
What are some of the biggest fears that you hear from agricultural producers when you begin to talk about how they can become engaged in climate change action?
Their biggest fears center around how this will impact our cost structure. And a lot of those fears are being distorted by whose study we should listen to. There's stories out there and studies that are credible, and there's some that simply have no foundation in fact. I would strongly encourage people to go look at the Kansas State Study on Studies, which took 6 of the most credible studies done throughout the United States and summarized the impacts on agriculture. And when you study that information, you find out that some of these horror stories aren't as bad as they sound. It doesn't mean that we ignore the issue by any means, but it's going to challenge every industry and every commodity group by commodity to assess the impact on their own industry and develop a strategic response.
Thank you, Dick. For more information on how agriculture can engage in the climate change debate, please read the January issue of Top Producer 2010.